The clock ticks slowly as 5 students sit in a dimly lit detention room, each lost in their own frustrations. There's Jake, the rebellious troublemaker, Mia, the straight-A student wrongly accused of cheating, Derek, the school bully, Lucy, the quiet goth girl, and Brandon, the class clown. Mr. Walker, their strict teacher, sits at his desk, writing furiously on a clipboard, oblivious to the growing tension between the students. Outside, the school is eerily silent. The janitor, Mr. Phillips, is nowhere to be seen, though his mop and bucket are abandoned in the hallway. As Mia glances out the window, she notices the sky is an unnatural shade of red, and the usually busy parking lot is empty except for a few scattered backpacks and a single, overturned bicycle. Jake, restless, stands up. "This is pointless," he grumbles. "I'm leaving." But as he reaches for the door, Mr. Walker blocks his path. "Sit down, Jake. Detention ends when I say it does." Before another argument can start, a loud bang echoes through the hallway. It's followed by a series of guttural groans. The students exchange nervous glances. Then, bam! The classroom door rattles violently, as if something, or someone, is trying to get in. Mr. Walker frowns. "Stay here," he orders before cautiously opening the door. The moment he does, a bloodied, staggering figure lunges at him. The students scream as the janitor, his face half-torn and eyes milky white, sinks his teeth into Mr. Walker's throat. The teacher gasps, blood spurting from his neck, before collapsing to the ground. Chaos erupts. Derek tries to run, but the janitor tackles him, teeth snapping. Jake grabs a chair and smashes it over the janitor's head, knocking him back momentarily. Mia slams the door shut, bolting it. They watch in horror as Mr. Walker begins to twitch and convulse, then suddenly sits up with the same dead, hungry eyes. Lucy whispers, "He's turning." The students are trapped. Their teacher has become one of the monsters, and outside, more shambling figures begin slamming against the windows. The realization sinks in, detention is the least of their worries now. The classroom is filled with the sound of panicked breathing and the relentless pounding of fists against the door. Mr. Walker, or what used to be him, lets out a low, guttural growl as he slowly rises from the blood-soaked floor, his vacant eyes locked onto the terrified students. Derek, breathing heavily, backs up to the farthest corner of the room. "This isn't happening. This isn't real," he mutters, but the hungry snarl from their former teacher tells them otherwise. Mia, gripping the back of a desk, hisses, "We have to do something." Jake doesn't hesitate. He grabs a metal ruler from the teacher's desk and brandishes it like a weapon. "We take him down before he takes one of us." Mr. Walker lunges forward, and the students scatter. His movements are jerky but fast, much faster than any of them expected. Lucy barely dodges his grasp, stumbling into a row of desks. Brandon, always the jokester, lets out a nervous laugh. "Maybe he just needs a coffee." "Shut up and help." Mia snaps as she throws a textbook at the undead teacher's head. It barely slows him down. Derek, panicking, makes a break for the door. He fumbles with the lock, but the undead janitor is still outside, clawing to get in. His bloodied fingers slide under the gap, reaching desperately. "We're trapped." Derek yells. Jake takes his chance and swings the ruler, slashing at Mr. Walker's face. The zombie stumbles but doesn't fall. Instead, it turns to Jake with a twisted grin, its teeth bared and dripping with blood. Mia spots the fire extinguisher mounted on the wall. "Get him back," she yells. Jake dodges another grab and kicks a desk into the zombie's path. Mr. Walker stumbles, giving Mia enough time to grab the extinguisher and swing it with all her strength. A sickening crack echoes through the room as the heavy metal canister collides with the teacher's skull. For a second, nothing happens. Then, thud. The zombie crumples to the floor, motionless. The students stand frozen, their chests heaving, minds reeling. The classroom is a mess, blood smeared across the floor, overturned desks, and Mr. Walker's lifeless body in the center. Lucy speaks first, her voice a whisper. Is he really dead? Jake nudges the body with his foot, but just then, another loud bang rattles the door. The students whirl around. More shadows appear behind the glass. More blood-stained hands press against it. Mia grips the extinguisher tighter. We need to barricade the door. Now. Derek, finally snapping out of his panic, helps push a bookshelf in front of the entrance. Jake and Brandon stack chairs and desks against it. Outside, moans grow louder. The creatures are multiplying. Brandon swallows hard. This is so much worse than detention. Jake glares at him. Shut up, Brandon. Mia's gaze drifts to the small classroom windows. Beyond them, the school is in chaos. In the distance, they see students and teachers running, some screaming, others already being attacked. Lucy's voice trembles. The whole school, it's happening everywhere. For the first time, true horror settles in. They aren't just trapped in a classroom. They're trapped in a school filled with the dead. The classroom is eerily silent, except for the muffled growls and pounding from outside. The barricade shakes every few seconds, reminding the students that time is running out. Mia grips the fire extinguisher tightly. We can't stay here. Derek scowls. Oh yeah? And where exactly do you suggest we go? The hallways are crawling with those things. Lucy, still staring out the window, points toward the far end of the school. If we can get to the emergency exit near the gym, we might have a chance. It leads straight to the parking lot. Brandon lets out a nervous chuckle. Cool, so we just have to cross a zombie-infested school? No problem. Jake steps forward. Better than waiting here to die. A loud crash startles them. One of the desks in the barricade topples over as the undead outside push harder. The creatures let out hungry shrieks, sensing their prey. Mia's heart pounds. We're out of time. We have to move. Through the air vents. Jake's eyes scan the room. Wait, the vent. He points to the air vent near the ceiling. We can crawl through it and drop down somewhere safer. Derek scoffs. You've got to be kidding me. It's either that or wait until those things break in. Jake snaps. No one argues. Brandon drags a desk under the vent, and Jake climbs up first, using a ruler to pry open the metal grate. He hauls himself inside and turns back to help the others. Mia follows, then Lucy. Derek hesitates. If I get stuck, I swear. Move, idiot. Jake yells, reaching for him. The second Derek pulls himself inside, the barricade collapses. Brandon, still on the desk, lets out a scream as the door bursts open. A horde of zombies stumbles in, bloodied students, their jaws hanging loose, eyes glazed with hunger. Brandon scrambles into the vent just in time, but one of the zombies grabs his shoe. Help! Jake lunges forward, kicking at the zombie's face. It lets go just as Mia and Lucy pull Brandon further inside. Below them, the zombies snarl and claw, reaching up. They are too slow to climb, for now. Breathing heavily, the students crawl forward through the dusty, narrow vent. We need to drop down somewhere safe, Mia whispers. Jake glances through the nearest grate. I think this leads to the library. Derek grumbles. Great. We can read while we die. Jake ignores him and pushes the grate open. One by one, they drop down into the dimly lit library. It's eerily quiet. Bookshelves stand tall like rows of gravestones. The emergency lights flicker above them. Lucy grasps Mia's arm. Do you hear that? A faint rustling sound comes from the back of the library. The group freezes. They are not alone. The library is cloaked in eerie silence, except for the faint rustling sound coming from the far end of the room. Dust particles float in the dim emergency lighting, and the smell of old books is mixed with something foul, blood and decay. Jake holds up a hand, signaling the others to stay quiet. He grips a broken chair leg, his makeshift weapon, and steps forward cautiously. Mia and Lucy stay close behind, while Derek and Brandon linger near the library entrance, keeping watch. Suddenly, a book falls off a shelf. The group whirls around, hearts pounding. A shadow moves between the bookshelves. Mia tightens her grip on the fire extinguisher. It could be someone alive. Or it could be one of those things, Jake mutters. The rustling gets louder, followed by a low, wet growl. Jake raises his weapon just as something lunges out from behind the shelves. Not all the dead are slow. A zombie girl in a torn cheerleading uniform rushes toward them, but she's not like the others. She's fast. Jake barely has time to react before she slams into him, snarling. They tumble to the floor as he grapples with her, trying to keep her snapping teeth away from his throat. Mia swings the fire extinguisher, slamming it into the zombie's head. The impact sends the creature rolling, but it scrambles back to its feet unnaturally fast. Derek swears loudly and grabs a thick dictionary, hurling it at the zombie's face. It stumbles for a second but doesn't stop. "Run!" Lucy yells. The group dashes between the bookshelves, dodging overturned chairs and scattered books. The fast zombie clambers over furniture, its movements twitchy and unpredictable. They reach the emergency exit at the back of the library, but it's chained shut from the outside. "Are you kidding me?" Brandon yells, yanking at the chain. The zombie lunges again. This time, Mia is too slow. It grabs her wrist. She lets out a scream. A desperate choice. Jake reacts instinctively. He swings the chair leg like a baseball bat, slamming it into the side of the zombie's head. The creature staggers. Derek sees his chance. "Move!" He grabs a heavy bookshelf and, with all his strength, pushes it over. Crash! The massive shelf collapses onto the zombie, pinning it underneath. The group stands frozen, breathing heavily. The cheerleader zombie thrashes beneath the bookshelf, hissing in rage, but she's trapped. For now. Mia clutches her arm, breathing fast. It didn't bite me. Her sleeve is torn, but her skin is intact. Jake nods. Then we keep moving. Brandon turns pale. "Guys, if that one was fast, what if there are more?" A chilling realization settles over them. Some of the zombies are getting smarter and faster. Before anyone can speak, a loud crash echoes from the hallway outside the library. More of them are coming. Jake clenches his jaw. We have to find another way out. But deep down, they all know. The school is turning into a death trap. The students stand in the dimly lit library, their breaths heavy, eyes darting to the collapsed bookshelf pinning the fast zombie beneath it. The creature continues snarling and thrashing, its fingers clawing at the floor as if it still believes it can get to them. But the real danger is outside. A loud crash echoes through the hallway, followed by several eerie moans. Lucy steps back, gripping her arms. They know we're in here. Jake looks at the locked emergency exit. We need another way out. Derek scoffs. Oh, sure, let me just pull a blueprint of the school out of my ass. Mia glares at him. Shut up and help us look. Brandon, who had been quiet up until now, suddenly points to the librarian's desk. Wait. The front doors. The librarian always had a spare key to unlock them in case of emergencies. Jake nods. Then let's check. The key to freedom, or more death. They move quickly toward the librarian's desk, keeping low as the shadows from outside flicker through the cracked door. Every second, the sound of pounding against the hallway walls grows louder. Mia rummages through the desk drawers. Come on, come on. Brandon hops over the desk and shakes a locked drawer. This has to be it. Jake grabs the chair leg and smashes the drawer open. Inside, a key ring with several labeled keys. Mia grabs it. Front doors, this one. She holds up a key labeled main entrance with shaking hands. Derek grins for the first time. We're actually getting out of here. But the moment is short-lived. A horrifying screech comes from the hallway. The library doors burst open. Hunted in the dark. Three blood-drenched figures stagger inside. Two of them are slow-moving students, their uniforms ripped, their faces twisted in grotesque hunger. But the third, a former football player, his massive frame twitching and jerking unnaturally, charges forward. It's another fast one. Jake barely has time to yell, "Run," before the monster sprints toward them. Mia and Lucy dive behind the desk while Brandon scrambles up a nearby bookshelf, trying to climb. Derek, panicking, grabs a thick book and hurls it, but the zombie barrels through it like it's nothing. Jake barely dodges as the fast zombie swings at him, knocking over chairs and desks in its frenzy. "Do something!" Brandon yells from the top of the bookshelf. Mia grabs a pair of scissors from the desk and throws them. They stab into the zombie's arm, but it doesn't even flinch. Derek suddenly grabs a fire extinguisher and, without thinking, sprays the fast zombie in the face. The creature lets out a shriek, momentarily disoriented by the blinding white mist. Jake doesn't hesitate. He grabs a chair and swings it full force into the zombie's legs, sending it crashing into a bookshelf. The entire shelf teeters, then collapses on top of it with a deafening crash. For a few seconds, everything is still. Panting, Mia stares at the pile of books and broken wood. Is it dead? A low, guttural snarl answers her. The creature twitches and shifts beneath the wreckage. Jake grabs Mia's hand. We're not sticking around to find out. A desperate sprint. The group races toward the library doors, dodging the two slower zombies still staggering toward them. Mia holds up the key to the front entrance. We just have to get there. But as they reach the hallway, their hope vanishes. The entire corridor is packed with zombies. Dozens of them. Dead students. Teachers. The school nurse. All of them turn their heads in unison, their milky eyes locking onto the 5 survivors. A long, dreadful silence fills the air. Then, a chorus of hungry screams. The entire horde charges toward them. Brandon grips the back of his head. Okay, we're so freaking dead. Jake grits his teeth. Not if we run like hell. And so they do. Down the hallway. Past the lockers. Toward the main entrance. But deep down, they all have the same terrifying thought. What if the front doors aren't enough to save them? The sound of screeching, moaning, and pounding footsteps fills the hallway as the horde chases the students toward the main entrance. Jake is in the lead, gripping his makeshift weapon so tightly that his knuckles turn white. Mia runs beside him, the key to the front doors clutched in her hand like it's the only thing keeping her alive. Behind them, Derek, Brandon, and Lucy struggle to keep up. Faster. Jake yells. Brandon glances back and instantly regrets it. The zombies are gaining. The slow ones stumble over each other, but the fast ones weave through them like predators, their milky eyes locked onto the fleeing survivors. Up ahead, the front doors come into view. The large glass panels reflect the red emergency lights, streaked with blood and handprints. Mia skids to a stop at the entrance, fumbling with the keys. Her hands are shaking too much. Come on, come on. Lucy slams against the door, trying to push it open, but it doesn't budge. Hurry up, Mia. The first of the zombies reaches them. Fighting for every second. Jake swings his chair leg, cracking a zombie's skull. The creature collapses, but another takes its place. Derek grabs a fire extinguisher and bashes it into a rotting face. The zombie stumbles back, but not for long. Brandon, wide-eyed, waves his hands in the air. We can't hold them off forever. Mia finally finds the right key and jams it into the lock. With a loud click, the door unlocks. She shoves it open, blinding light pouring in from outside. Gio, she screams. The school isn't the only danger. The group bursts through the doors, practically tumbling onto the front steps of the school. For a brief second, they breathe in fresh air. But their relief is short-lived. The parking lot is chaos. Cars are abandoned, some still running with their headlights shining into the darkening sky. Fires burn in random spots. Corpses litter the pavement. And worst of all, the city beyond the school gates is no better. Sirens wail in the distance. Smoke rises in thick plumes. Gunshots echo through the streets. This isn't just a school outbreak. It's everywhere. Lucy stares at the ruined city in horror. Oh my God, there's no one coming to save us. A terrible decision. Behind them, the zombies are pouring out of the school, spilling onto the steps like a wave of death. Jake grabs Mia's arm. Run. But where? Derek shouts. Brandon points toward the parking lot. We find a car and get the hell out of here. Do you know how to hotwire a car? Mia asks desperately. Brandon falters. No? Then we need a new plan. The zombies are seconds away from reaching them. Jake scans the area, then spots something. The football field, he shouts. There's a supply shed near the bleachers. It might have weapons, tools, anything we can use. Lucy hesitates. That's all the way across the field. You got a better idea? She doesn't. With no other choice, the group takes off toward the football field, the undead horde rampaging after them. As they sprint across the open ground, the terrible truth sinks in. They escape the school. But survival is still far from guaranteed. The group sprints across the football field, their legs burning, lungs screaming for air. The horde chases them, spilling out of the school like a flood of death. The setting sun casts long shadows across the empty bleachers, making the blood-stained grass beneath their feet look even darker. Brandon gasps for breath. Are we, Hoff, almost there? Jake points to the supply shed near the far end of the field. There. We just need to. A fast zombie bursts from the side of the bleachers, tackling him mid-sprint. Jake slams into the ground with a grunt, the creature snapping its teeth just inches from his face. Mia screams. Jake! One shot, one chance. Jake grapples with the zombie, using his forearm to keep its gnashing teeth away from his throat. The creature twists and writhes, its milky eyes locked onto him, its hunger relentless. Derek hesitates, frozen. What do we? Mia doesn't think. She grabs the fire extinguisher and swings it down with everything she has. Crack! The zombie's skull caves in, black blood splattering across the grass. It goes limp. Jake pushes the corpse off him, panting. Mia reaches down, pulling him up. You okay? Jake nods, but his hands shake. Yeah. Let's go. They resume running, the shed only feet away. Brandon reaches the door first, yanking it open just as the rest of the group dives inside. Trapped again. Lucy slams the door shut behind them and locks it. For a few moments, the only sound is their ragged breathing. Then, the pounding begins. The zombies slam against the shed walls, their fists rattling the thin metal structure. We can't stay here. Lucy cries. Jake grabs a crowbar from a nearby shelf. We need to arm ourselves first. They frantically search the shed. Jake finds a crowbar. Mia grabs a baseball bat. Derek picks up a wrench. Lucy finds a hunting knife. Brandon holds up a flare gun. This might be useful. Outside, the pounding grows louder. Mia swallows hard. How do we get out of here? One final hope. Jake peeks through a small window. The zombies are swarming the shed, but a few yards away, the football team's bus is still parked by the gate. Derek groans. Please tell me you know how to hotwire a bus. Jake looks at him. No. But I know how to drive one, if we can get the keys. Brandon points to a small cabinet labeled vehicle keys. Check there. Mia flings it open and grabs a key ring labeled Bus 3. Got it. But before they can celebrate, a loud bang comes from the door. The zombies are breaking through. Lucy backs up. We need to move. Now. Jake nods, gripping his crowbar. On my count, we push through and run for the bus. Derek stares at him. You're insane. Unless you have a better idea, shut up and get ready. Mia tightens her grip on the bat. Let's do this. Jake takes a deep breath, then yells. Now. He kicks the door open. And all hell breaks loose. The shed door flies open, and the group bursts out into the open, swinging weapons as they charge into the horde. Jake bashes a zombie's head in with the crowbar, clearing a path. Mia slams her baseball bat into a rotting chest, sending the creature sprawling. Lucy plunges her knife into a zombie's neck, yanking it free before running. Brandon fires the flare gun, hitting a zombie in the chest. The creature ignites, thrashing and shrieking. Derek swings wildly with his wrench, knocking a zombie's jaw clean off. I hate this. I hate this so much. The bus is only 20 feet away. But the horde is closing in from all sides. The last sprint. Jake grabs the bus keys from Mia as they reach the door. He fumbles, trying to unlock it. Come on. The zombies are nearly on them. Brandon screams as a fast zombie lunges, but Mia smashes its knee in, making it collapse. Click. The door unlocks. Get in. Jake yells. They scramble inside as the first zombies slam into the vehicle. Jake jumps into the driver's seat and jams the key into the ignition. Nothing happens. Mia's eyes widen. Jake? I know. I know. He twists the key again. The engine roars to life. Breaking through. Zombies climb onto the hood, their bloodied hands pounding against the windshield. Jake slams his foot on the gas. The bus lurches forward, crashing through the horde at the gate. Bodies thud against the sides, but Jake doesn't stop. He grips the wheel, swerving past wrecked cars and debris, heading toward the road. Lucy glances out the window at the burning city. Where do we even go? Jake doesn't take his eyes off the road. Somewhere far from here. Mia looks back at the school, now swarmed with the undead. A place that once felt like a prison is now a graveyard. Brandon sighs in relief. We made it. But Derek, staring at the dark horizon, mutters. For now. As the bus disappears down the road, the city burns behind them. Their fight for survival has only just begun. The end, or just the beginning.